Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I am here today in Slovenia at the Lynx Pro Training Center for Lynx Brutality 2025. This is, of course, put on by Polenar Tactical. Fantastic channel. If you don't watch them, you should watch them. Giga and Mate and Samo and the whole crew, including Jan, who is generously filming me for the match today because he's fantastic at it. Anyway, we're here for the match. This is a full-on awesome brutality match. It's going to be a total of 10 stages over 2 full days, so we'll be splitting it into 2 videos. And I figured I should give you a brief intro on the guns that I am using. Now, my initial plan for this match was to shoot it in a fantastic business suit from Grayman, and I wanted to do everything essentially concealed. So I have a concealed carry pistol. I was going to do all of my mags in concealed pockets in the suit and that sort of thing. And then for a rifle, I am using a Flux Raider. I figured this would be a perfect opportunity. It is essentially a concealable, mostly concealable, carbine. I really like the very compact stocked pistol sort of type of firearm, and the Flux Raider is by far the best thing like this. So this is one of the SIG Legion Flux Raiders. I actually have a SIG optic on it. We're doing a lot of SIG in this match. Now the problem is my suit is in a warehouse in Ljubljana and they will not release it. So instead, I'm sticking to the same sort of plan. I'm still wearing armor. I was gonna be wearing armor under a suit jacket. Now I'm using my emergency French camo combat shirt, because of course I carry one of those everywhere I go, and just a pair of jeans. And I will be, all my mag storage will be either in the cummerbund pockets of this Versteleka plate carrier, like so, or in literally the pockets of my jeans. My pistol for this match is actually another SIG. This is a SIG P365 that I put together myself with a Gideon Valor Mini red dot. This one's cool because it is a straight RMS-C compact direct attachment mount, and it is a fully enclosed micro pistol red dot. So that is concealable, like legitimately concealable. I'm running it in a brutality match in an IWB holster, which is a dumb idea. I'm like, rifle pistol. Normally, my service pistol for a brutality match would be something this size. So it's going to be a little bit of a handicap here this year, but hopefully it'll be fun. It'll be really interesting to see how I can do running a Flux Raider out to, I think our maximum stage is like 160, 170 meters. So we're gonna do 5 stages today and then 5 more stages tomorrow. Let's hop into it with stage 1.
Stage 1 is Frontline, sponsored by Cellular and Balat Ammunition out of the Czech Republic. Giga wanted to replace the electric kettle fencing he had in previous year's Lynx Brutality, and what better way to do it than with trip mines? So that was the main element in this stage. There are 6 targets arrayed out at the end of that little field. They're all full-size IPSC steel targets. You have to hit each of them and then drop your magazine, and you have a high-value shot on the one in the middle. Then sling your rifle. I've got this cool, compact, containerized sort of sling on the Flux Raider there. Grab 2 ammo cans. They're full of, I think, rocks, but they're not particularly heavy. And then tiptoe your way through the minefield here. Every one of those strings is tied off to a trip mine, and if you hit the string, if you pull on the string, it will set off the trip mine. You can see I've got a sling bag of tourniquets there. Well, if you hit one of the trip mines, you have to stop where you are, apply a tourniquet to a limb, and then continue shooting the stage. So the tourniquet application is essentially your penalty. So there's a second round of shooting from the tire, and then we carry the ammo cans through the second half of the minefield there, put them into the marked box, and repeat the shooting engagement. So it's the same shooting engagement every time. Hit each of the 6 targets, then drop your magazine and make a high-value hit on the one in the middle. In this case, the high-value hits are actually bonuses. They're worth 30 seconds each. And I am very happy to report that I made all of those hits. Now, once you do that whole sequence, you run back to the starting point and just do it a second time. So the Flux Raider worked pretty well here. The one thing I discovered at the beginning aside from the fact that it hits the brim of my hat, is that the Flux is not nearly as forgiving as a proper carbine for making hits. I initially thought I was just going to be able to blaze through those targets because they're fairly close and full size. And I made a bunch of misses on the first round of shooting and realized I have to slow down, and I actually have to be a lot more careful with the sights, with the red dot, and with the trigger to make those hits. Not a problem to do it, and I made all of the high-value bonus hits as well, and I managed not to set off any of the trip mines in the process. But I really did have to pay closer attention to the shooting than I originally anticipated. So note that once you've made a high-value shot, the 180 no longer applies. The gun is known empty since you pulled the mag and fired a shot. So that's why I'm a little bit, muzzle discipline isn't 100% once it's hanging on the sling. Anyway, here's my very last high-value shot, and bing, another hit. So that was a great way to start off the match. Stage went really well. Basically negative 18-second time because I made all of the bonuses. One of my best stages of the match. All right, number 2, the Sisyphus Drill. This was to replace the Kočevje Drill as another creative way to have a simple stage using a kettlebell. And there's nothing like a brutality match that has one target, one shooting position, and one kettlebell to worry you. So here is the least flattering camera angle ever. The shooting position here is this plastic conduit tube. There is a wooden panel in it that has a single shooting port. It's a flat horizontal rectangle, so you have to pivot the gun over 90 degrees, and there is a half-size IPSC steel target at 160 meters. It's all the way down at the end of the bay. All you have to do is make one hit on the target, then run down, get the kettlebell. This is a 24-kilo kettlebell, so that's going to be something on the order of 60 pounds. You just bring it up the stairs, drop it over the edge into that tire, and repeat. It's extremely simple. It requires good shooting, and it strains your cardio. Like the faster you make hits, the more running and kettlebell carrying upstairs you have to do. Now, this is a stage where the Flux absolutely hindered me. Like, this was a challenging stage with a rifle, and here I am trying to do it with essentially a pistol. I did, by the way, bump the mag release there through my gloves, so that was the cause of the malfunctions. The first time I bumped it, the mag dropped down a little bit, didn't chamber around, and then I hadn't realized what happened. So anyway, I'm continuing to try here the combination of the dot and the pistol accuracy and the ammunition accuracy. Once you get to a half-size target at 160 meters, got to be about half skill and half luck. So I got my first hit really quickly and easily. Actually, I did manage to get a second hit there after a fair amount of trying. Run down, get the kettlebell again, and repeat. A lot of people just carried the kettlebell in the hand. I opted to throw it up on a shoulder, and I think that was definitely the easier way to do it. It wasn't trying to move around on me. There was, by the way, a 60-second penalty. If you missed the tire, you get a 30-second bonus for each time that you manage to drop the kettlebell in. And now I've got about 60 seconds left to make another hit. There is no end to this stage. It simply runs until your 3-minute par time expires. So the overall, the winner overall on this stage, the guy got 6 hits, which is fantastic. There was only one person, I believe, who pulled that off. And then there were a bunch of people who got 5. But man, doing this with the pistol, this was definitely at or perhaps beyond the extreme end of the Flux's range. You can see here, I actually gave up even trying to shoulder the Flux. I held one hand on the pistol grip. I rested the gun in the shooting port, and then I just held a second hand on the stock. The red dot has no specific eye box or eye relief, so I was able to just kind of wiggle it around onto target, holding, in my case, high and left here until I eventually ran out of time. So I ended up with 60 seconds of bonus because I made 2 hits, got the kettlebell cycled twice. That put me at 99th of 122 shooters. So not particularly good, but that's kind of what happens when you handicap yourself with guns like I have here. All right, stage 3, hostage rescue, sponsored by Schmeisser. If you're not familiar, Schmeisser these days makes rifles, makes ARs in Germany. This starts off with a zip line. The timer is not going yet, so you have your gun empty and slung, go down the zip line, unclip you. Once you go through the door, the timer starts. And now there are 10 little tiny targets. These things are about an inch in diameter, little orange plastic targets sitting on top of each of the sticks out here. And each one of them is on top of a piece of foam, which is 3 or 4 inches tall. And then below that is a white paper target. And the white paper is a no-shoot. So any and all hits on the white paper are 60-second penalties. This is very important to know your holdovers. And I pretty well did. I started off shooting low. It took me a little while to get exactly the right hold with these, and then I lucked out. I had a couple of hits where the target stands weren't properly braced down, and so one hit knocked off 2 of the targets. Anyway, once you clear all 10 of those, run out, move the drag dummy. This guy's about 50 kilos, so 120 pounds or so, 110 pounds. Lift him up onto the pallets, come back. And now you will engage one set of pistol targets. We're going to start with the Polish plate rack there. The plate rack of white plates in the background are all no-shoots. So you have to start by hitting the red one, which starts that Polish rack spinning. And then you have to hit all of the black plates in front of it. This proved to be, again, very challenging for me because it would have been a little bit simpler with a proper full-size duty pistol. I'm doing this with a little SIG P365. The dot works great, but this is a small, jumpy pistol. It's optimized for carrying, not for actual shooting. And I've only got 3 magazines here. I've got an 11-round mag, a 12, and a 12. So these are going to be difficult because after you clear the Polish plate rack there's then a Texas Star with, again, spinning no-shoots behind it on the left side of the bay. So the process here is finish this one, then run back, take the drag dummy off the pallets, come back, and eliminate the Texas Star plates on the other side of the bay. And it's taking me quite a long time here to actually clear that Polish plate rack. I think I'm close. There we go. There's the last one. I did hit one of the white no-shoot plates in the process. Now we're going to head out. I'm going to drop this guy back down onto the ground. Note that all of these stages are generally, as much as possible, self-resetting to keep the match moving. And right there, I par out. So this was, I think, my biggest penalty stage of the match. 370 seconds, 220 seconds in penalties. Oof. All right, stage 4, manual override, sponsored by UF Pro. This is a fun stage. There's a fun prop here. So you run over to the wagon, grab a magazine out of the wagon, load it up, and there are 2 little hanging swinger targets up on the top of the berm, and you just have to hit each of them twice. So no double taps, hit the left, then the right, then the left, then the right. Then, as we're going to become very used to, pull your magazine, engage one more hit, drop the gun in the cart, and then you start cranking the cart towards the pallet here. But they're not using a normal rope. They're not using a normal pulley. They're using a ratchet crank meant to move like 3,000-pound cars. So it has a massive gear reduction. So you're cranking away on this thing as fast as you possibly can, and the wagon is just barely inching towards you. It was pretty fun. Like, it was a cool, creative use of a prop. And Jan, our videographer with Polenar, went ahead and stuck the first-person camera down in the cart so we get kind of a cool shot there. Anyway, I am having a pretty easy time hitting these targets, but I managed to miss repeatedly the bonus shot. So each one of those, pull the mag and make a last shot to render the gun safe. Each one of those is, again, worth a 30-second bonus, and I managed to miss almost all of them on this stage, which is really embarrassing. I'd love to blame that on the Flux. I can't. As you can see, I really have no trouble at all hitting the main targets. It's just that bonus, I don't know, mentally gets to me or something, and I managed to miss them. I think I get this one and then miss all the rest of them. Anyway, one other thing about the Flux that's really cool is the fact that it can stow a second magazine in the front of the frame. That essentially I wasn't able to make any use of here during the match, because one of the other Brutality match rules is you have to maintain all of your gear on you. Anything left behind is a penalty at the end of the stage, and that's just to encourage, well, to keep the stage flowing so people aren't running around trying to pick up stuff when you're trying to get the next shooter in place. And the Flux is really set up to take the spare mag and just dump the main magazine on the ground. And that was something that I had to avoid doing. So anyway, last stage for the first day is Plastic Fantastic, sponsored by Archon Firearms. And this is an all-pistol stage. There are, again, plastic targets here, so when you hit them, they're going to fall down. And they are, once again, on top of no-shoot paper. So you'd better know your holdover. Well, it's less about holdover with a pistol here, but you better be able to make good hits. There are a batch of small, I think there are 4-inch, maybe 5-inch targets in the middle of the bay. And once you knock all those down freehand, you're going to pick up the kettlebell. I think it goes about a 50 or 60 pound kettlebell. Run to either the left or right side, and then engage a set of slightly larger plastic targets. These are 6 or maybe 7-inch, one-handed. So on the left side, you shoot left hand only. On the right side, you shoot right hand only. You can put the kettlebell down and use both hands to clear mouths or to reload, but all the shooting has to be one-handed and holding the kettlebell. So this is another place where actually I was afraid the P365 was going to be more of a hindrance to me than it really was. Maybe I'm just getting better with it by the end of the day. But again, the Gideon dot does great. It presents a dot. I got it basically perfectly zeroed, so I didn't have to worry about that. And just a matter of know your hold and your follow through and your trigger press. And there we go. Now you'll notice there are 2 orange targets still there. I managed to just totally blank out at the beginning of the stage and ignored those last 2. There's a bar in between them and the rest of the first set of targets. And yeah, I just brain farted them. So I will go ahead, reload here. This is my last magazine. Once again, I was a little worried about whether I'd be able to complete this whole stage with only my 3, 11, 12, and 12 round magazines. But I'm able to get the last of the right-hand targets here, almost, and thought that was it. And then one of the RO reminds me that, oh, you got 2 more targets. So run back to the middle, go back to freestyle, and knock down those last 2 targets to finish out the stage. And there we go. Not terrible, but not great. I was happy that I didn't par out, but I did get 2 no-shoots in the process. So that's where my 120 seconds of penalty comes from. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed these. Stick around tomorrow. We will have stages 6 through 10 and the final results. Thanks to Polenar for running Lynx Brutality. It was a fantastically run match, and we all had a great time at it. See you tomorrow.